Okay, well, without further ado, let me introduce to you Kurt Nelson and Mike Allen of Midwest Waters Angling.
Yeah,
Bravo.
how you guys? All right. All right, I'm Kurt. This is Mike. We own Midwest Waters Angling, one of the biggest fly fishing guide services here in Illinois. We mainly focus on smallmouth, and that's kind of what we'll be focused on here today is early season smallmouth and pre-spawn stuff, because that's what everybody's itching to do right now. So we figure we focus on that, techniques, and kind of how we approach the river.
So, let's see. So we offer full days, half days, group trips, quick trips. We got raft and drift boat trips. We don't do any wade guiding.
Yeah, we've gotten so busy over the years. Now we have 3 more guides, so there's 5 of us total now. So it's been going really well. We're going to start with early season smallmouth, kind of your winter fishing, December, January, February, March. Kind of what we're in right now. Can be some fantastic fishing. We'll kind of go over our equipment we use this time of year. 7 and 8 weights. It gets windy, we're throwing 8s. We're throwing big extra large dumbbell bottom bouncing flies. We're throwing 8 weights. We typically stick to 7s unless it's windy. Sinking lines. No floating lines really this time of year unless we're trying to get down real deep. Trying to get down to the deepest areas in the river in the fish's wintering holes, because that's where they're going to be. They're not going to venture out too far into the shallow. They're going to be near wintering holes. Slowest, deepest holes, these fish are not going to be in current.
So most of the flies we use this time of year are leeches. Sometimes we'll go with bigger bait fish. You want to hop it along the bottom. You're basically steelhead fishing and dragging these holes for these winter fish. They aren't going to move far to the fly. They may follow it for a little bit and then pick it up, but you really want to move it slow through these holes.
It's like jigging a deer hair jig in the winter.
These are all winter fish. You can catch these fish all winter. If you find a spot where they are, that temperature ticks up, just 10 degrees will get them active enough to pick up a fly. Bart's big fish the other day.
Yeah, that was from the other day.
That's a winter fish.
Yeah, this is from a couple days ago. All these fish were caught on the bottom of the river in about 2 to 4 feet. So they're kind of transitioning out of their winter holes, moving up and down the riverbanks, searching for food in the middle of the day, and probably going back to their wintering holes at night. If you can find a wintering hole, they're in there, and there's more than one all the time. You pop one, you're going to get 2, you're going to get 3 bites.
Yeah, don't leave it. Just keep dragging that hole at least.
A lot of the guys equate it to golfing. You go to the green, you catch 3, move on to the next hole, row a mile, find a hole, catch 4 or 5, row another 15 minutes, same thing. Very concentrated.
Another good Illinois trophy smallmouth.
Here, I'll go over like our fly lines this time of year. We're using I don't know if you can see this, but it's called a Hover 2-4, kind of a sinking line that doesn't have a belly in it. Great sinking line for streamers. I wouldn't use it with bottom bouncing stuff though. That's all streamer stuff.
Most of the rivers we fish, you can use a floating line with an extra long tippet and just make that tippet and look like at least 10 feet, maybe 9 feet. And you can use a floating line. Just keep mending it and feeling the bottom. Just keep ticking the bottom.
Yeah, the key is mending your line without mending the leader part. We'll just keep popping back up. Very good line all year. One of our favorites, that bass bug line. Works great in the winter, summer, all the time. It's one of our favorites. And those are, and then full intermediates, of course. Those are our 3 lines we use all spring till about June. So we'll get into pre-spawn, March, April, May. It's kind of out of your winter fishing. This is when they're really transitioning and setting up in their spawning areas. The males are all battling each other over good spots to make beds. And this is a late April fish. Late April, a couple of years ago. First time fly fishing. More pre-spawn stuff. No leaves are on trees yet. No vegetation.
Another March, April fish. They're moving towards bait fish more as you get into March and April.
See that big murtage hanging out of its mouth.
Big fish, big flies. Again, with fast action, 7 and 8 weights. 7 weights, your Swiss Army knife of warm water fishing. It'll get it done most of the time anywhere. But you get on a bigger system and you're going to need to throw an 8 weight. Wind kicks up. You're throwing bigger, heavier flies. You're going to want an 8 weight. Intermediates and tips, floating lines. A lot of times we'll get into frogs too this time of year, so you're gonna want an 8 weight usually with throwing a big frog. So the males, they're moving into the shallows. They're going to be around their beds. We typically always avoid the beds. I'll always tell the customer not to throw at the beds because you can find those transition fish all around a bedding area just hanging out, especially the males. There'll be a couple of them, looking to move in on them beds, and you can capitalize on them just as easy instead of bonking those.
Yeah, fish outside the bed, not fish protecting the bed.
Yeah. Swinging D's, drunken disorderlies, mega murdaches, feather game changers. I've really gotten to like the feather game changers. I don't know if a lot of you guys tie any of that stuff, but the articulated game is like in the past 4 years, 3-4 years. It's just gotten really huge. And those articulated flies that you tie, 5-piece, 3-piece flies, even they move so much better than just, a single. There's a place and a time for them, and they time from minis all the way up to, I tie big feathered brush head ones. They're really effective.
Yeah, anything in that 4 to 6 inch range, can't go wrong. We never fish streamers with lead eyes. We usually use intermediates and weightless flies so they move side to side. I found that streamers that jig up and down are way less effective than flies moving side to side. You really got to make that thing dance. It's like a floating Rapala. These fish are meant to kill. They're not going to eat it unless they feel like you're chasing it.
There's
Make
a
'em
time
work
and a
for it.
place for the Clouser style flies with lead eyes and everything, but in general, it's better not to weight your flies unless you're keel weighting them on the bend for a certain particular type of action. But you're better off using your fly line to get your fly down instead of weight flies.
At least out of a boat and the way we fish, we found it way more effective. Yeah, I mean these are 7 inches, these flies, and they just destroy them.
What are those called?
Another big old fly with a rattle, big epoxy head, articulated shanks, 2 hooks, big old piece of meat. And here's some more examples of flies we fish this time of year. Just big flies. I mean, we're throwing big ones. They don't care. The water's high, it's dirty. They're all grouped up. They're competing for food. This time of year, we're floating down the river. We're just pounding banks. 5 strips off the bank, boom, you're hitting it back on the bank.
A lot of the guys that throw gear, they can relate to this type of fishing. You're not. This isn't delicate. Excuse me. This isn't delicate. Fishing like you would regularly equate to fly fishing. You're power fishing, stripping fast, pausing it, making these fish chase your fly.
And more times you hit the bank, you're going to catch more fish. We're not stripping it all the way to the boat, but you will see them chase it to the boat. So every time before you cast, you got to look down. And more times than none, you'll see a fish right there, try to eat it right when you pick it up. You always got to look out for that. Some more examples of some nice pre-spawn smallies. Couple females full of eggs. More examples. I mean, my favorite time of year is March, April, May. Those are the 3 months I look forward to every year. I love it because they're so grouped up in these spots. In the summer they're just so scattered. I mean, it's not uncommon to have 20, 40 fish a day on a good day in the spring. And then we'll kind of talk about conservation here for a second.
So I know I'm talking to the right group, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but everybody knows how long it takes these fish to grow. That's probably a conservative estimate they have up there on the screen, in my opinion. But like I said before, we totally leave the beds alone. We're in the boats all the time, so it's even easier to spot the beds as we're floating down the river. And any given week, I mean, I know where they set up. I know every year they come back to the same areas. So it's easy to avoid it for me. But a lot of guys that wade and stuff, it's always good to be cognizant of where you're wading, and I know a lot of the members are advanced anglers, and they probably know where to wade and where not to, so just always got to keep all that in mind.
Moving to summer now, May, June, July, and a little bit of August, floating intermediates. We're using a lot of the tropical clear tip. It's got a clear tip. It doesn't coil up in the heat. We'll use the regular clear tip. These are great when it's really clear because very stealthy presentation. A lot of floating lines. We're throwing top water, downsized streamers. We're not throwing the big stuff like we are in the spring. We're downsizing to 1.5 inch, 3 inch size flies. Post spawn, I mean, everybody knows it can kind of be off for a few weeks. All those females are hiding and very tired from the spawn. We don't catch a lot of big fish post spawn, but once they start eating again, it can really get good. Fish tend to kind of scatter after the spawn. Mid-river strike. I mean, they could be anywhere, really.
Yeah, they gotta rest up. They've not eaten. They're dead tired from spawning. So all they want to do is go find a safe place to hide for a little bit, and then they, that hopefully that feed bag kicks on again. Boogles,
Little merged minnows.
Mr. Wiggly's, all that stuff.
Stuff that's going to land and not spook fish. I mean, you want that fly to be super light, land nice and softly, not spook them. They get very spooky.
The time of year is where good, accurate casting comes into play big time.
It's not uncommon on some days on really low water and very clear bluebird sky conditions. You got to be able to cast 50, 60 feet, or it can make for a tough day. This fish was 20 inches caught in 4 inches of water, just one little pothole. It's crazy how some of these big fish will just sit in this 2-foot diameter, 6-inch deep pothole in the middle of a shoal.
Old fish right there.
Would never think that fish was in there. More clients. Don't catch as many big fish in the summer, though. Some familiar faces. We'll skip carp. But it can be a lot of fun when they're on berries. We get in front of them and you got a good presentation, it's game on. Pike are another bycatch, only on certain river systems around here.
Sometimes we get into the gar. There's certain sections, and I know the Kankakee has them. They require a different fly if you really want to catch them right.
Mike, the fuzzy bug flies that I gave you that are made of that Enrico Puglisi streamer brush, those you can catch gar on them because they hit the fly, their teeth get tangled in it. I had a day where I caught 4 or 5 gar on that fly in the Kankakee. Yeah,
yeah,
so
they're fun. They
if you have the right fly, they're fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and they jump a cartwheel. They're pretty cool fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just interesting getting them unhooked or untangled.
Yeah, it's fun taking them off. They're slimy, stinky. They got that rope all in their mouth.
They're so prehistoric. Their skin is crazy. It's armor.
Scare the crap out of you when you're smallmouth fishing. You don't see a big 6-footer come next to the boat.
So like Kurt was saying before, we're up to 4 rafts. I run a skiff now. We also run an aftermath, and we got another hard boat on the way. We moved away from the jets.
We do a lot of the group trips now. We can accommodate 4 boats, but 3's good. Kind of the max you want to float on these little rivers. So it's a lot of fun.
Set up lunch.
Yeah, we do a lot of the group stuff. Here's the jet boats we have. We got rid of these and we got a couple drift boats. Sick of dealing with the motors. The rivers, I mean, we guide everything around here, all the way up near the Wisconsin border, all the way down to Ottawa, everywhere in between. In the springtime, we're typically around here and south. And then as it gets warmer, we kind of move up north. It's very rare that all the rivers we got on are blown out just because there's 150 miles in between the rivers we got on. So we're bouncing all over the place. Good shot of one of our favorites. Nice glassy morning, crystal clear water. Yeah, Yeah, some of these rivers around here, I mean, people don't know about them, but they're gems. All this stuff's only an hour from Chicago, if you could believe it. Yeah, like we talked about in the beginning, full day, half days, quick trips. We don't do night trips. We're going to get into the overnight stuff, do a lot of the group trips. It's me, Mike, Mark Messer, Chris Hurst, and Mike Davis now. We can accommodate any day. We also do the tournaments. Last year we didn't do them with COVID and everything, but this year we're seriously talking about doing them again. It's always a big hit. So we'll probably do Golden Bones. We also do the Bronzeback Cup Invitational. That's a boat only one. The carp one is an individual. You don't need a boat. This one's boat only. It's always a good time. And this one we donate all the proceeds to Coalition to Save the Menominee River. It was unfortunate we couldn't do it last year, but I think we're going to do it this year. We're doing Vice tying classes, free community get-together tying at the Penrose, but that was shut down as well. Everything's opening up soon, so we'll probably start that again. And all this stuff, if you sign up for our newsletter, we'll put a newsletter out every month to keep everybody informed of all these events we try and do. Try and keep people busy in the winter. And that's pretty much it. And we will open it up to questions if anybody's got any questions for us. Any questions?
Dealer?
So you guys starting now? I mean, when are you starting to fish?
Oh yeah, we started now. The fishing's been on fire. I mean, we caught 20-something fish yesterday. Saturday was good.
Since weekend before last, it's been picking up. So
yeah, well, like for everybody that didn't get on earlier, I mean, this fish was from yesterday. This was yesterday, 40-degree water. This was from yesterday, 40-degree water.
Wow.
Bouncing bottom leeches with floating lines. And we probably caught about 6, 17, 18, 19-inch fish. I mean, that's why I love this time of year. No tubers, no vegetation. Nobody's down the river because nobody thinks the fishing's good, but it's probably the best of the year, in my opinion. I mean, you can see this, probably a small female full of eggs getting there. I mean, these fish are ready to breed. They're hungry. They're angry. They're all grouped up and fighting for food. Anybody else have any questions?
So these last couple days, are you just fishing just the guides to find the river, or you got clients out already?
So we're scouting right now. Yeah, we're scouting right now, but we will take clients out. It's kind of hard right now, though. A lot of the rivers are pretty high and dirty, and it can be kind of tricky if you're not used to fishing 4 feet of water with a floating line and a heavy fly. It's really a kind of an advanced technique. But we'll start running guides next week or two. If you want to come out, it's supposed to rain like 2 inches here, so we're
yeah,
fishing for a week.
Yeah.
Depending on where it all falls.
Yeah, I was looking at my calendar to see what the weather's going to be like next week, because it sounds really good to me. I'll be talking to you guys pretty soon. Looks like Tuesday and Wednesday next week might be, based upon the forecast now, would be the days to go.
Yeah, looking at the temps, when you're fishing,
when you're fishing this time of year, what time are you starting?
We're starting a little later, like 7:30. So we're moving the boats down the river at about 8 o'clock after shuttle. So it
Okay.
gets better and better and better as the day goes on.
So if I didn't want to fish for, so is that an 8 hour trip?
Yeah, you can do a 5-hour half day or a full day.
Okay. Cool. We'll be talking.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be talking. I want to get out.
You guys have a new Stealthcraft boat, right? Kurt, Mike,
Yeah.
Yeah,
how do you like
we
that?
got yeah, it's great. I mean, you fished out of it. Was it comfy?
Oh my gosh, man! I tell you, I was in style, you know. That thing
Yeah.
is really comfortable and
So,
stable, and you know, big and very very nice. Perfect for the DuPage River, you know.
yeah. Some of the systems we float, you're not going to get a hard boat down, so we have to go with the rafts. But we have new rafts now this year, so they'll be a little bit more comfortable. But like anywhere we can get a hard boat on, we're gonna go with a hard boat. That's the idea of moving to a skiff style.
A little easier in the spring with the higher flows.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions?
Yeah, what about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was asking, I was telling you guys earlier, I'm recuperating from surgery and it's going to be a while. And so if I can get out later in the summer, are your boats some that I will be able to sit a good portion of the time, or you need to stand
yeah.
to fly fish?
No, they all have comfortable seats and horns that you can lock your hips into. I mean, these aren't like little inflatable rafts. They're basically drift boats. Very comfortable for 3 people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cup holders and all.
Cup holders and all. Nice rigid floor. You're not bouncing all over the place. They're very comfortable.
You have a question, Terry?
Yeah, I was wondering, you guys looking forward to, what is it? I think in May, the big, what do you call that? Devil bug, cicada hatch, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. You know how that goes. I mean,
Oh, come on. It's supposed to be crazy this year.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Big topwater flies, right?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, pray for the best, prepare for the worst. We're ready. You know.
When will the bugle bug bite? When does that usually start?
Yeah, depends on the the conditions, but usually May you can start doing that.
Like May, we're throwing frogs primarily, big, 2-aught frogs. And then once they stop eating those, and the water gets clearer and lower, you got to have that more finesse style with the boogle bugs.
Yeah.
Size 4s and 6s.
I found that's always a lot of fun. A fun way to catch smallmouth, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the more aggressive topwater bites. Like when you're throwing boogles or wigglies, it's a finesse thing, But with the frog, that's an aggressive bite,
Nothing better than fishing big frogs in May.
And those are flies. I mean, that's a frog fly.
Yeah. They're deer hair.
Oh,
Big
okay.
2-aught hook.
Deer
Okay.
hair flies. Uncle makes them. They're swimming Jimmy, I think they call them.
Swimming frogs.
Swimming frog.
Swimming frogs,
Yeah. Super popular.
They make the good ones. And then you
Yep.
put the epoxy on the bottom, and they always land belly down. You got to doctor them up a little bit.
I have
Yeah,
some Corey
they'll
Gale
last
deer
long.
hair flies that
Yeah,
work
there you
well.
go. Corey's
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's
They'll
what he's talking
work.
right there.
Yeah, I have some. I have some.
Hi, Alan.
How you doing, Corey?
Slowly coming back.
Actually, I'll give you a call after this. Haven't talked
Okay.
to you in a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt and Mike. I did my first float with Mike this fall, and it was amazing. So I want to tee you guys up for anybody who is used to waiting and just doing local waters, wading and stuff. Can you guys talk a little bit about the difference of the experience of somebody who's just used to that, just wading in shallow water versus what they can expect on a trip with you guys on a drift?
Well, I know there's a lot of guys that use a kayak on here, and you know they know the value of covering water, and that's probably the number one thing is you are covering water. You're hitting spots continuously. You know, the second thing is that in our boats at least, I always try to encourage clients to stand and cast. You know, when you were out with us, Aaron, it was super low and super clear. So you had to see the target and watch the fish react when you put the fly in front of them. It's key a lot of times, especially in the summer months, to be able to stand and cast, and even in an elevated position too. You know, I mean, the skiffs we have now, you know, depending on your balance, mine gets worse as I get older, that's for sure. But even if you can stand even a little higher, a lot of times that's how you catch big fish out of a boat in the summer. You know?
Fishing out of a boat, you'll learn a lot because it's a visual thing. You're gonna see all the mistakes you make. You're gonna see, you're gonna see a lot more. You're gonna see how the fish reacts to your fly. You're never gonna really see that when you're wading. Not often. So you learn a lot in a boat. You learn how the smallmouth react to flies, what to do, what not to do. I mean, you probably saw it, like work the fly faster, work it faster. You're not working it fast enough. You're just ripping this thing, and then the fish gets so hot he eats it. But if you're just sitting there stripping super slow, that fish is not going to eat it. I equate it to like that scene in Jurassic Park with the sheep. You know, the lamb. Like, T-Rex doesn't want to be fed. He wants to hunt. So you really got to make him eat it. Play keep away with him in the summer.
Yeah, and the boats, I mean, it spoils you because, waiting equals work, God bless Terry for still getting out there. I always see him out there waiting around.
It comes too much of a hassle for me when the water's low.
Yeah. Sometimes it is,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with spot hopping. I know Eric does it a lot, as long as you got a milk run planned out there where to go, pound that spot, get back in your car. But there's also spots you're probably missing if you're not floating, I mean, I still, even these rivers that I float today, there's still stuff I learn every season. Every season I find a new spot. The river's always changing, I mean, we're all river fishermen. We know this. But until it starts happening in front of your face and you come back to that scour hole you always caught one out of, well, now it's all filled in with, sand and debris, and the fish don't like it anymore because there's no cover and there's no food.
So you find a new spot, right?
That's right. Well, that's the beauty of the boat, Yeah.
And it's nice in the spring because you can anchor and fish a hole. And some of those spots you just can't get to wading.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And it's access too, Illinois is no friend of access for the fishermen, unfortunately. It's not like Wisconsin. I wish it was different.
Yep.
Aaron works with an organization, could change that.
Oh, yeah.
Muting.
Hey guys, this is Bill A, and I'm from out of the area. Could you give me a little bit of advice on trying to fish the Vermilion River? I've tried 2 or 3 times when I'm passing through the area, and I've never caught it in fishable condition. Just bad luck on my part. Does it have a better season, a worse season, or whatever?
I would say fish it when it's low.
Yeah, you gotta fish it when it's gotta have some clarity to it. I mean, we don't take clients on dirty water. It's just a recipe for disaster. It's gotta have at least, I'd say, a foot of visibility to be able to run clients. We never feel comfortable bringing people in dirty water just because smallmouth are sight feeders. They can't see the fly. It's hard to get them to eat.
When I talk dirty, I'm not saying stained. Stained is different than dirty.
No, not stained, like cloudy, muddy, dirty.
Yeah. Mud's different than stain, so.
Dirty, cold water is a recipe for disaster. You might as well just stay home and tie flies.
And watch your gauges. I mean,
Yeah.
all you guys are experienced fishermen. I know, like, probably all of you watch the gauges and have a gauge app, but if you're new to it, I would say the best thing you can do is download yourself an app on all the water gauges and watch it and learn it.
You know,
Get out there and fish.
what people don't realize is when should you be on the river? It's always what should I use? How should I present it? Should you even be out there? You know, so if you look at the CFS, cubic feet per second, you can find this information everywhere. Learn the flows. Look at the flows when you have a really good day and keep it in your memory. Make notes of it. You're not going to want to go out there when it's flowing 1,000 CFS when it should be at 200. You're not going to catch any fish.
But Bill, I would say watch your gauges and wait for it to get low down there on the Vermilion and it clears up.
Yeah.
That's your best bet.
How many times a day would you consider to be too much for checking the gauges?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Do you wake up in the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 in the morning? Because that's
Pretty
what I do. Yeah.
Hoping
Yeah.
for some magic thing to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've got a quick question. Hey, this is Tyson. I'm in
Yes, sir.
Chicago. I follow you guys on Instagram, and your photography video is just incredible. And I was just curious if like what you guys are shooting, like, any sort of like tips for fish photography.
Yeah, so I went to school for some photography. So did Mike.
Oh, okay.
He likes Fuji. I use like a Sony A7R3. It's just something I've always liked.
Yeah.
Just different types of lenses, man. I don't know, just doing it for so long. I don't know.
The video we have to credit to somebody else though. We
Yeah.
didn't shoot the video on YouTube.
The video is one of our good buddies produced it. Brook Dog Fly Fishing out in Buffalo. One of his good buddies shot and edited it, and he produced it. He had a whole series a few years ago. What was it called? Discover Your Region.
Discover Your Region.
Yeah.
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 Pretty cool. He did a real nice job with it.
He's got a cool fishery. He fishes the Niagara River about 2 miles downstream from Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Very cool fishery.
If you're ever there, look him up.
Nice. Well, keep up the good work. I like it.
Thanks,
Thank
Tyson.
you.
I got a quick question. You guys mentioned the overnight trip coming up. Is there any particular water you're going to do the overnight at?
We have private access on river down south. We're trying to set up some camping stuff. It's a work in progress. Once it's in the works, we will put it out there in newsletters and stuff.
Yeah, you'll get
It's all private property.
Steve, you're on our newsletter, right?
Yeah.
I signed up because I don't know if I've gotten it before or not, but I did just now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll send out a newsletter to all our customers once it's all set up.
It's gonna happen. Just it's a lot to figure out.
Sure. Yeah, I like a cool trip.
Yeah. Everybody likes a campfire and some good food after they caught a boatload of smallies, right?
There you go.
Take a drink. Anybody else?
I know it's a different species than most of us mess with, but do you guys want to talk at all about the tournaments in a little more detail and kind of what the vibe is? Particularly, I was thinking the Golden Bones tournament in particular, kind of how much fun it is and kind of the way it runs. I think a lot of people might be interested in that because it's waders and boaters alike. If you end up doing it, it's a good chance to tell people what it, kind of the vibe and how it plays out.
Yeah, so about, I think it was 5 years ago, me and Bill Katzenberg are always like talking, why aren't there any fly fishing tournaments? Why aren't there any fly fishing tournaments? So me and him decided to do this thing, and the first year was awesome. I think we had like 60 people It was a hell of a good time, and we've been doing it every year since, except last year. That one's an individual weighting. It's not a team tournament. That one's like $100 to get in. We got tons of prizes. You get a t-shirt, nice Sims t-shirt, bunch of prizes given out, live music. You get to hang out with a bunch of like-minded people. And we'll probably do that one again July, August. And then the Bronzeback Cup, we started that because we wanted a boat-only fly fishing tournament. So we figured we'd start a boat-only smallmouth fly fishing tournament and donate all the money to the Coalition to Save the Menominee River. Donate all the money to them. And that's been pretty fun too. Usually get about 10, 12 boats every year. And we'll probably do that one again. I'm thinking after the spawn, late July. We'll see how it all pans out this year.
Yeah, I think Dave Koopselman won it last year, didn't
He's won it. Dave won it 2 years ago.
he? Josh Rock.
You won it the first year. You're not allowed to fish it.
It was like a million years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it's
good
always
time for
fun.
everybody to get together. That's
Yeah.
what I like about it.
It sucks for me because I can't fish in it. I was like, why can't anyone start a tournament? And now I had started them and I can't even fish in them. But it's fun organizing it, and everybody has a good time.
There's some good prizes too. We had some good prizes.
Yeah.
I feel like you
Any
guys
more
are being
questions?
modest. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are being
It's a lot.
modest. It's really, really, really fun. And everybody on this
Yeah,
call
it is a lot of fun. I'm modest because I know it's a lot of work for me. That's probably why I'm being modest. Yeah. But it is a really good time. People have a lot of fun. Like even the golden bone one, if you know a boat, it's very accessible. It's not even a competition thing. It's just a good time.
Yeah. I think we need that after this last
Yeah,
year.
that's why I'm thinking it's
Absolutely.
kind of cool to do it this year.
Yeah. Good point. Thanks, Aaron. Anybody else? If not, I'm gonna sign off.
Thank you, guys.
I want to thank. What's that, Alan?
Thank you, guys, for doing this.
Oh, thank you. We're gonna so everybody that's on the Zoom call right now, we're gonna offer a $50 off discount. If you book within a week from today, any trip we got, just mention that you're on the Zoom call, and we'll offer $50 off for any trip after this. But I wanted to thank the leadership of the ISA and.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And,
this opportunity.
And it's great that there's still a club around, that's been going for this long. And, I want to recognize that they do a lot of work, and there's a lot of volunteers involved that, that deserve some credit too, because not everybody everybody likes being in the club, but not everybody wants to volunteer. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody on the board and all the leadership.
Yeah, Mike and Kurt, those are some really nice words. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Yep.
And thank you very much for volunteering, like you guys did, to come on tonight and to put on this demonstrate, this show. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed it. I know I did. And you guys are the best, man. Nobody knows how to catch smallmouth like you guys do. So,
Those are kind words. Thanks, Bart.
all right, no problem, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you,
All
Mark.
right.